What's up? Ghost Fictions is here, and we're back again. This is a story where Izuku was the true god of all quirks. All believe that the first appearance of quirk is from a glowing newborn child in China long ago, but what if the ever first quirk is from millions of years ago, and not from a human, but from an unknown lifeform? Meet Izuku Midoriya, a being that has lived on Earth even before humans existed, and the originator of all quirks. Slept for hundreds of years for unknown reason and now awakened in a world of 20th century. This story followed suit Izuku's life as an ordinary citizen of Japan and tried to blend in with society. But before we start, please consider subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Don't forget to check the description for more informations and support the amazing author Quinn65k for writing this story. Now, let's get into the story. Somewhere in Japan, in a cave of an inhabited island lies Izuku, who have just woken from his slumber. I wonder for how long have I been asleep? Izuku thought to himself. Izuku teleported himself to a habited place while being invisible because he is butt naked. He observed the people around him and scanned their attires. The few million years old boy made clothing identical to what they are wearing. It seems that I have been in slumber for too long considering this drastic change in society. Izuku thought. After Izuku made the clothes from thin air and wore them, Izuku deactivated his invisibility and set out to take a stroll in the city. Many women eyed Izuku along the way since his appearance is that of a handsome yet cute young man with sharp red eyes that give a maturity vibe, black hair with green highlights, and 4 symmetrical freckles on both sides of his face. Obviously everything is new to him, so he is quite clueless of what to do or how to act until a kid bumped into him and the kid fell on his ass. What the heck, dude? Watch where you're going. Izuku couldn't understand what the kid is saying, so he scanned the kid's brain and copied some of his knowledge about the society, as well as their language, cultures and etiquettes. After his scanning, which took only a few nanoseconds, Izuku spoke. "You're the one who ran into me, so you are supposed to owe me an apology, kiddo," Izuku said in a monotone voice. "Did you just say kiddo? From what I can see, you're not that much older than me." Izuku noticed that they are gathering quite an attention, so he grabbed the kid's hand and teleported them to a place with no crowd. "Where have you taken me?" the kid asked, confused. "Don't worry, it's not that far from where we came from, kid," Izuku replied, reassuring the kid. "Oh, is that so? And don't call me kid, I have a name, and it's Sorahiko Torino." After hearing the kid's response, Izuku thought of a name to call himself. After a few seconds of thinking, this name should suffice, Izuku thought. "I'm Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you, Sorahiko-kun. By the way, what are you doing in the city all by yourself?" "I'm looking for a place to practice my quirk. I want to be a pro hero, see?" Sorahiko replied. Izuku learned from Sorahiko's knowledge from when he scanned him that roughly 80% of humans of these era developed supernatural powers they now called quirks, and heroes is a profession to stop evildoers, which are called villains. So, it seems that people have learned to manifest my powers that I gave them hundreds of years ago. Izuku has been deep in his own thoughts that he didn't notice Sorahiko calling out to him. "Hey, can you hear me?" "Earth to Izuku," Sorahiko shouted. Izuku was then cut off from his thoughts and looked at Sorahiko, who is confused. "Oh, I'm sorry about that. Can you tell me about your quirk?" Sorahiko just smirked and dashed so fast around Izuku and eventually stopped and said, "My quirk is called Jet, and it helps me propel myself faster than an ordinary person to match," Sorahiko said in a proud tone. "You want to be a hero, right? I can help you attain that title by training you to harness your quirk so you have better control and knowledge." "Over it," Izuku offered. "What can you even do?" "I think you don't have what it takes to train me," Sorahiko retorted. "I'll prove it to you then, kid. Since you're so proud of your speed, why don't we race?" Izuku said, smiling. "Sure, why not, just don't cry when you lose, okay?" Sorahiko replied. "The first one to reach that pole over there wins the race," Izuku said while pointing at the said pole. They both got ready and then Izuku counted down. 3, 2, 1, go, Izuku shouted. Sorahiko dashed as fast as he could using his quirk. He noticed that Izuku also used a quirk similar to his, but Izuku is much faster. Izuku reached the pole in roughly 1½ seconds, while Sorahiko 4 seconds. "Wow, you're so fast, is your quirk the same as mine?" Sorahiko asked excitedly. "Well, more or less," Izuku replied while scratching the back of his head. "I can't tell him that I'm the originator of all quirks on the planet now, can I?" Izuku thought. After their race, Sorahiko accepted Izuku as his mentor to achieve his dream to be a hero. And thus, this is the start of Izuku's life as a citizen of Japan, as well as Sorahiko Torino-sensei. Izuku trained Sorahiko like hell until he can fully grasp the full potential of his quirk. The training Izuku gave truly paid off, as Sorahiko is nothing like he used to. Sorahiko can now fully utilize the use of his quirk on offense, defense and agility, speed. Nothing can compare Sorahiko's gratitude towards his sensei because the training Izuku gave him can make Sorahiko achieve his dream of being a strong and dependable hero. Time skip no jutsu. It has already been a few years since Izuku met and trained Sorahiko. The boy is now a full-fledged adult and a pro hero in the name of Gran Torino. In Gran Torino's apartment, Izuku can be seen hanging out in his student's apartment watching TV. "Hey sensei, mind if I ask you a question?" Gran Torino asked. "Sure, why not, what is it, kid?" Izuku replied. "How come you're so strong and you still haven't thought of being a pro hero?" added Gran Torino. That. I just want to chill around and do nothing since you're the one providing for me since I'm your benefactor and sensei," Izuku said with a smug grin. Gran Torino grew a tick mark on his head after he heard his teacher's reply. "Even though I owe you my achievements all these years, that doesn't mean that you can just lie around all day and do nothing," Gran Torino said in a ticked voice. Izuku just pretended he didn't hear his Torino's complaints and just continued watching TV. Gran Torino is now on the verge of crying while thinking he has to take care of his sensei until the day he dies. That is until he got an idea. Gran Torino called someone on the telephone and they had a quick conversation. When the call ended, Gran Torino can be seen with a smile on his face. "What are you smiling at? It's creepy," Izuku wondered while looking at his former student. "You'll find out soon enough," Torino replied. After a few minutes, a knock on the door can be heard on Torino's apartment. Gran Torino opened the door and saw a mouse bear dog-like creature standing outside. Torino offered the strange creature to come in, which the creature happily obliged. "What seems to be the reason you called out to me in a hurried fashion?" the strange creature started. "I want to invite someone to be a teacher in UA and I need your approval, Principal Nezu," Torino replied. "And who might that person be?" Nezu asked again. "That would be him," Torino said while pointing at Izuku. "I wouldn't be so sure about that, he is nothing but a kid," Nezu complained while looking at Izuku watching TV, not giving a damn to the world. "He may look like a kid, but he is my sensei and trained me when I was younger," Torino replied with an awkward smile. "Are you serious? From what I can see he just looks like a kid in his teens," Nezu said, shocked. "I'm not joking, I sometimes even wonder how he still looked the same from the time I met him when I was younger. I wonder if he's using some kind of secret moisturizer to maintain his young look," Torino replied. Nezu first composed himself, trying to take in the informations that had been slapped on his face. After Nezu calmed down, he asked Gran Torino to bring Izuku to him. Torino slowly walked towards his sensei and get him to talk with Nezu. Izuku complied to his former student's request and walked over to Nezu. "What might you want to talk about, young one?" Izuku asked in a calm voice. Nezu was taken aback on Izuku's remarks. He hears a person who looks like in his teens calling him young one. This intrigued Nezu. "For you to call me young one, you must be fairly old. May I know your name?" Nezu requested. "I'm Izuku Midoriya and yes, I'm quite old despite my looks. A few million years old it is. But feel free to call me Izuku since I don't like formalities," Izuku replied. While smiling. "Well then, Mr. Izuku, Gran Torino requested for me to take you in as a teacher in UA, are you aware of this?" Nezu asked. Izuku was confused for a second but immediately realized and shouted at his former student. "What the hell did you get me in this time, you brat?" Izuku yelled with a ticked expression. This made Gran Torino swallow a lump of saliva on his mouth. "Well sensei, since you have nothing to do but just laze around all day, why not train future heroes, just like how you molded me to be a pro hero I am today yourself?" Torino replied nervously. Izuku just made a sigh of defeat and accepted his student's request since he could use some entertainment instead of just doing nothing all day. "Glad to have you on board, Mr. Izuku," Nezu said, smiling. "Likewise, Principal Nezu," Izuku replied, shaking Nezu's paw. Currently at UA. The students of 1 are in their classroom discussing about the new teacher that is going to teach in the school. Nomuri, midnight. "Did you know there is a new teacher coming today?" Hisashi, presentmic. "I heard the new teacher is recommended by Gran Torino sensei." Azawa, eraserhead. "Quiet, class is about to start." The room then became silent when Gran Torino walked in along with the new teacher. "Good morning, class, today a new teacher is going to replace me as your homeroom advisor. Meet your new teacher, Izuku Midoriya," Gran Torino announced. The class was speechless to see their new teacher. "Isn't he too young to be our teacher?" Nomuri exclaimed. "Yeah." The whole class followed. "Don't be deceived by his looks," Gran Torino replied, pinching the bridge of his nose. "You must be joking, right? From what I can see he is just a little bit older than us, maybe even the same age," Hisashi said, confused. "I'm not, now sit on your chair," Torino replied. After everyone quieted down, Izuku then started to talk. "Good morning everyone, as you may already know I will be in charge of this class for the next 3 years," Izuku said with a smile, charming all the female students. Wow, can someone be handsome and cute at the same time? The girls thought to themselves. Alright, you can leave me now, Sorahiko. Izuku said, looking at Torino. Gran Torino then walked out of the room, leaving Izuku and the students inside. Izuku's sight then landed on a blonde man with a gravity-defying styled hair and a muscular build. Oh, if it isn't that brat's disciple. Izuku exclaimed. Excuse me? Toshinori asked, confused. You're Sorahiko's disciple, am I right? Izuku questioned. If you mean Gran Torino sensei, then yes. By the way, do you know him? Toshinori asked again. That brat's my student. Izuku replied. What? Toshinori yelled, shocked along with the rest of the class. Damn, you're so loud, haven't he told you about me at all? Well, Torino sensei often talked about his teacher and how hellish his training is back in the day when he was still aiming to be a hero, but I didn't expect his teacher to be this young. Toshinori replied. Oh shooks, calling me young, you're making me blush, kid. Izuku said sarcastically. Izuku then continued the class and days went by and he is getting used to teaching these kids. After a few months of teaching, the change in the Wana students is amazing as they are now more skilled in utilizing their quirks because of Izuku's teaching and training. Namuri and the girls also became much too close to their sensei as they often invites Izuku to have lunch together or flirting with him. A whole school year went by and now the students of class 1 are about to become second years. Gran Torino. Class, good morning. Hisashi. Torino sensei, where is Izuku sensei? I'm about to tell you a sad news, please bear with it. Gran Torino said apologetically. What is it, sensei? Namuri asked. Today Izuku sensei will no longer be with us as he will be leaving for America. Torino replied. Everyone was shocked and devastated, especially Namuri, Hisashi, Aizawa and Toshinori as they are the one closest to their sensei. Flashback. Torino. Sensei, are you really leaving? Izuku. I might be going to be gone for a few years, but I'm going to be back once I'm done with my task. Torino. And what might that be? Izuku. I'm sorry, but I can't tell you yet. One day I will explain everything to you. Flashback end. He didn't even said a proper goodbye before he left. Namuri said, crying. Yeah, that's so unfair. Hisashi replied, also crying. Aizawa and Toshinori just kept quiet as they also started tearing up. The next time I see him, I'm going to put a leash on his neck to prevent him from walking away again. Namuri yelled. I hope you don't meet her too soon when you come back, sensei. Torino thought. Several years had passed since Izuku left Japan. There is no information of his whereabouts or his situation. Gran Torino have not heard anything about his teacher for years. The reason why Izuku left is still a mystery. You'll just have to find out throughout the story. Izuku can now be seen riding a whale towards the shore of Japan. Many jaws dropped when they saw a person riding in a fucking whale's head. When Izuku landed ashore, he was greeted by a familiar dog, mouse, bear creature waving to him while getting out of a limousine. Welcome back, Mr. Midoriya. Still looking as youthful as before. Nezu greeted. Oh Nezu, didn't expect you'd pick me up. How'd you know I was coming? Izuku asked. I have many information sources, Mr. Midoriya. Nezu replied. Is that so? By the way, rid me of the honorifics, just call me Izuku cause it's making me uncomfortable. Izuku sighed. Nezu. If you say so, Mr. Midori. Cough. Izuku. Nezu then offered Izuku a ride while Izuku happily obliged. Where are we heading to, Nezu? Izuku wondered. The entrance exam of UA is being held right now, so I want you to evaluate some of the students. Nezu replied. Izuku. UA, huh? It's been a while since I've last been there. Nezu. It sure is, some of your students are teachers there. Also. Izuku. Oh, and who might they be? Nezu. You just have to see for yourself when we arrive. They finally arrived at the school. Both of them got out of the car. Let's go to the monitoring room, Izuku, follow me. Nezu said. Nezu started walking towards the said room with Izuku following suit. When they arrived, Nezu opened the door and inside the room can be seen Eraserhead, Present Mick, Midnight, the Wild Pussycats, Endeavor, Recovery Girl and All Might watching the students from a monitor. Nezu. Cough, cough. This caught the attention of the staffs. Why are you here, Principal Nezu? Aizawa asked. You might want to greet this person first. Nezu replied as he pointed at Izuku. Is that you, Izuku sensei? Aizawa asked wide-eyed. How are you, my cute little children? Izuku said, gently waving his hands. Sensei, it's been many years since we last saw you. All Might said, a little excited. Yeah, how have you been, boy? Woohoo. Crash. Izuku was cut off when Midnight tackled him to a bone-crushing hug. Oh hello Namuri, how have you been? Izuku said, recognizing his student. Hello my ass, you left without saying a word and now you just popped out of nowhere. Namuri yelled as she tightened her hug. I'm sorry if I left without informing any of you. Izuku comforted. Midnight just started crying on Izuku's chest as his clothes got drenched in tears. Eraserhead present Mick and All Might also got teary-eyed to the unexpected reunion. Their happy reunion was suddenly interrupted when Endure began running his mouth. "Who the hell is that kid?" Endeavor questioned. "Huh? What did you say, little boy?" Izuku answered, kinda pissed. Little boy. Have respects to your elders, Brad." Endeavor aggravated. "Nezu. Then respect Mr. Midoriya as he is much older than you." Endeavor. "What do you mean by that? Are you playing a game with me?" Present Mick. "Izuku sensei is our former teacher when we are still first year students here in UA. All Might. My master Gran Torino is also once his student, so show some respect." Now, let's not make this even more problematic." Izuku interrupted, still trying to get out of Midnight's bear hug. Izuku. "So your name is Endeavor, huh? Nice to meet you, boy." Izuku extended his arm for a handshake, but Endeavor ignored it. Endeavor suddenly felt extreme bloodlust directing at him. He felt like the pressure alone could rip him to pieces. He then looked at Izuku, and Izuku's gaze sent shivers down his spine, enough to make him pee his pants. "Nice to meet you, boy," Izuku said, still extending his arm while smiling, but still emitted bloodlust only Endeavor can feel. Endure fearfully shook Izuku's hands. His whole body is shaking from fear of being killed. He feels like a prey standing in front of a supreme predator. It's my pleasure." Endeavor nodded. "That wasn't so bad, wasn't it?" Izuku said. "Nezu. Don't scare him like that, Izuku." Sorry. Izuku replied, scratching his nape. The commotion finally died down. Izuku sat down to also watch the students fight the robots in the screen. Midnight intentionally sat on his lap with a smug look on her face. Izuku just sighed as he just focused on watching the students with potentials to be future heroes. All the students who passed the entrance exams of UA have been thoroughly evaluated by Izuku himself. Nezu has complete confidence in Izuku's calculating skills, since never have once the genius principal beaten Izuku in any kind of game or match that requires mental prowess, such as chess and so on. Izuku visited his now wrinkly and old student Gran Torino. The Jet hero was surprised by his teacher's sudden appearance. It's the first time in more than a decade had Torino seen Izuku. "Yo, how have you been, Brad?" Izuku said. "Sensei. You still look the same as ever, don't tell me it's because of some products you use again." Gran Torino replied. "Maybe I'm just blessed with eternal youth." Izuku grinned. "Eternal youth my ass, by the way, Sensei, what brings you here?" Torino asked. Izuku. "I'm just going to take my remaining stuff in here to live somewhere else since I can't depend on you forever." Torino. "You found a place to live in now?" Izuku. "Yeah, I'm going to be living in Nomuri-chan's house since she forced me into it." Torino. "I totally get that, she was fuming mad when you left without even consulting her. I can't deal with women at all." Izuku sighed. "Yeah right, you're already an old man in a young boy's clothing, yet you still act like a teenager struggling in love." Torino mocked as he met with a smack in the head. "What did you say, Brad? It seems you grew some balls when I'm not here," Izuku said with a tick mark on his forehead. Torino then got a plentiful beating from his teacher, leaving him all messed up. "You're still millions of years too early to argue with me." Izuku laughed. "Why yes, Sensei," Torino replied as he passed out. "And I'm style." After Izuku finished packing his things, he then goes towards Midnight's house. When Izuku arrived, he knocked on the door. Midnight opened the door wearing a honestly oversized sweater. Before Izuku could even say anything, he got pulled inside and met with two soft watermelons in the face, as Midnight is holding him in a bone-crushing hug. "You came, Izuku-sensei. I'm so happy," Midnight exclaimed. "I'm glad to hear that, so could you please let go of me now, I still got my things outside." Izuku replied, lightly tapping Midnight's arms. Midnight let go while pouting, but later walked towards the kitchen as she's cooking something for dinner. Izuku on the other hand placed his luggage inside his own room. Izuku is just arranging his things when he smelled something burning. He goes down to the kitchen too, only to see a truly horrific sight. Everything is a mess, and the kitchen is surrounded by a somewhat creepy violet fog like it just came out of a horror movie. "What happened here, Nomuri?" Izuku questioned. "Sensei." Midnight ran towards Izuku crying like a baby. "Let me guess, you purposely prepared food even though you don't know how to cook," Izuku stated. I just wanted to surprise you with my cooking, that why I." Nomuri replied, sniffing and crying. Izuku felt like he is in front of a kid that made a mistake and is being scolded by a parent. "It's okay, I appreciate your efforts, but you didn't have to do this," Izuku said while patting Midnight's head. Midnight just snuggled on Izuku's chest while bawling her eyes out. "Nomuri-chan, take a bath first and I'll handle this, okay?" Izuku said. "Okay," Midnight replied, wiping her tears away. After that, Midnight went to the bathroom to take a bath first while Izuku took care of the kitchen. With a snap of a finger all of the mess got cleaned up. Izuku then started cooking curry. A few minutes later. "Sensei, I'm finished, you can take a bath now," Midnight said as she got out wearing her PJs. "Let's eat dinner first, come here," Izuku replied while preparing their dinner in the dining table. Midnight saw the food placed on the table. "Did you cook these yourself, Sensei?" Midnight asked astonished. "Yep, and just address me as Izuku," Izuku replied. "Alright, then Izuku," Midnight answered bashfully. "That's more like it, now let's eat." Izuku smiled. They ate dinner peacefully. Midnight couldn't help but took glances at Izuku while they were eating. "Is there something on my face?" Izuku asked smiling. "And nothing, it's just that you still look the same as before I first met you," Midnight answered blushing. "Don't mind the smaller details, be sure to eat lots, it will help you grow." Izuku snickered. Don't treat me like a kid. I'm already a fine adult, you know," Midnight replied, showing off her bountiful chest. Hi, my cute Nomuri-chan is not so little anymore," Izuku said, faking tears. "Stop teasing me," Midnight yelled blushingly. When they finished dinner, Izuku took a bath himself, and after taking a bath, he got dressed in his sleeping attire. "Nomuri-chan, let's sleep now since you still have class tomorrow," Izuku said. "Okay Sensei, Izuku," Midnight replied. They then went to their separate bedrooms and went to sleep. While sleeping, Izuku felt something on top of his chest. He slowly opened his eyes, he looked at the time, it was midnight, and he saw Midnight resting her head on top of his chest soundly asleep. This girl," Izuku sighed. Izuku then Princess carried the sleeping Midnight onto her own room and covered her in her warm blanket. Izuku kissed Midnight's forehead. "It feels like I had another child again," Izuku snickered. Izuku then walked towards the door, but before he went to his room, he turned towards the sleeping Midnight again and said, "Good night, Nomuri-chan." It's been a few days since classes had started in UA. Izuku had been living leisurely in Midnight's house like a retired senior citizen. Nezu endlessly pestered Izuku to register as a pro hero, in which Izuku reluctantly agreed to. He registered under a concealed name and took the spot as the No.0 hero. The whole evaluation staff were either amazed or terrified by Izuku's physical prowess. The sheer power that he presented in his hero evaluation test is proof enough that he can level the whole of humanity to the point extinction if Izuku ever wanted it to. Only Nezu and the evaluation staffs know of Izuku's domineering power and hero rank. Now we change scene to UA. The CLASS1 as students can be seen just doing their own things, and suddenly Aizawa opened the door. The ruckus slowly died down as Aizawa came in. "Took you all 8 seconds to quiet down, do it better next time," Aizawa said in a tired tone. "Good morning Sensei," Iida greeted while doing his hand chops. "Aizawa. Today I'm going to introduce you to a transfer student who will join our class starting today. Probably just another extra," Bakugo growled. "Iida. That's rude Bakugo." "Bakugo. Shut up 4 eyes." "Aizawa. Quiet." Aizawa called in the new student to come in. The door opened revealing our green-haired protagonist. "Ciao," Izuku greeted smiling. He's so cute," the girls thought to themselves. Flashback. As it turns out, Izuku requested Nezu to appoint him as a student in UA. Nezu, on the other hand, was confused as to Izuku's unprecedented request, but somehow agreed. Izuku never really had any important reason as to why he wanted to attend UA as a student, besides that he is just bored as fuck. Flashback end. "I'm Izuku Midoriya, nice to meet all of you. Hope we can be friends," Izuku said along with his charming smile. "Gladly," the girls simultaneously replied. "He's mine bitches." The girls glared to each other. "That bastard getting all the babes even though it's only his first day," Mineta yelled, crying blood. This situation made Izuku quite uncomfortable as he just gave an awkward smile. "You can take that empty seat next to the girl in ponytail," Aizawa said to Izuku. "Alright. Aizawa-sensei." Izuku grinned to Aizawa. This made Aizawa cringe so much that it sent shiver down his spine. "Don't make fun of me sensei," Aizawa whispered to Izuku. "You have to get used to it cause there's more to come," Izuku replied with a wicked grin. Aizawa just facepalmed himself knowing that his former teacher is the same as ever. Izuku then headed towards his seat and welcomed by a greeting by Momo. "Nice to meet you Midoriya, I'm Momo." "Momo yaoi Rozu," Momo bashfully said, extending her arm. "Nice to meet you Momo-chan, you're very beautiful," Izuku replied, shaking Momo's hands. Izuku calling Momo beautiful ringed on her head several times as it made her blush madly. He called me by my name and he said I'm BB beautiful. Momo thought to herself, getting indulged in her own fantasy. "Lucky bitch." The rest of the girls yelled in their minds. The class continued afterwards with Izuku constantly making fun of Aizawa all day. The rest of the class are wondering why is it that Aizawa seems to be avoiding eye contact with their new transfer student every time. Class 1 are now waiting for their class to start. Suddenly a deep voice came from outside the door. I'm coming in like a normal person. All Might said, opening the door and walked to the teacher's desk. It's All Might. Kirishima yelled excitedly. And he even wore his Silver Age hero costume, Kiro. Sayu added. The class went wild except for a few. All Might then introduced himself as their heroics teacher. Wow, having the 0.1 hero as one of our teachers. Mina shockingly said. You can say that again. Jiro replied. All Might then looked at the class he's teaching and saw that they have bright potentials to be future heroes. He looked around and saw a very familiar person sitting at the back of the class. That person is no other than his former class advisor when he was still a student in UA. Gah. All Might unconsciously let out a strange sound upon seeing Izuku waving at him with a grin. What's the matter, All Might sensei? Momo asked. And nothing, young Yaoi Rozu. Cough. Now let's proceed to your first lesson, but before that. All Might replied and announced. All Might pressed a button and suddenly metallic briefcases appeared in front of the students' desks. What are heroes without their hero costumes? All Might smiled. The class went on an uproar upon seeing their hero costumes. Izuku on the other hand didn't receive any. Izuku, why didn't you have one? Momo whispered. Don't worry about it, Momo-chan. Izuku winked. Okay. Momo replied, blushing. Now meet me at ground beta after you put in your costumes. All Might announced, in which the students nodded in agreement. Now the students can be seen going in their dressing rooms to change in their hero costumes. Izuku on the other hand is having tea in Nezu's office along with Gran Torino. How do you find the being a student here, Izuku? Nezu asked, taking a sip of his tea. Not bad, I guess. By the way, what are you doing here, Brad? Izuku said to his disciple. I'm just worried what mess you're planning to do when you ask Nezu to let you in as a student here. Torino replied. Am I really that troublesome for you to say it like that? Izuku said with a raised eyebrow. Very. Torino replied. That's why you're still single even at that age, because you're too nosy. Izuku said, smirking. That has nothing to do with me being single. I could say the same thing to you too, master, you don't even have a wife yourself. Torino replied with a proud grin. The room just fell silent as Izuku hadn't responded. Izuku just lowered his head and had a saddened expression on his face. What seems to be the problem, master? Did I say something wrong? Torino worryingly asked. It's nothing, I need to get going now, Nezu. Izuku answered, standing up. Nezu just nodded to Izuku. And you, Brad, go home now and don't bother me here. Izuku said to his disciple. Gran Torino was taken aback by Izuku's sudden change in tone, as if he just remembered something painful. Torino just scoffed it. Often thought of it as Izuku having an upset stomach. Torino went on his way to do his own things as Izuku went to ground beta. Meanwhile in ground beta, the students came out with their costumes on. Mineta was ogling at the girls' outfits, especially that of Momo's, as it is a revealing one. Momo noticed it and gave Mineta a memory-erasing slap and face. Mineta just laid there with a bloodied nose and a slap mark across his face. Now you look like pro heroes already with those costumes. All Might complimented. Sensei, Midoriya is not here yet. Iida checked. Have any of you seen Midoriya? See? Clearing throat. I mean young Midoriya. All Might asked the class. Almost slipped there. All Might thought in relief. Sorry I'm late, everyone. A voice was heard at the back. Everyone turned around to see who it is, and they saw Izuku wearing a fitted white dress shirt, accompanied by a black tie and vest, dark skinny trousers and black laced shoes. He also wore black tight gloves to complete his outfit. So cool. The girls thought in unison. That's some baddest costume you got there, Midoribro. Kirishima said in amazement. I could say the same to you too. Izuku replied. Thanks, bro. Kirishima thanked. What a show off. Mineta scoffed, but met with a town slap by Sayu. Cough. Now that everyone's here, I'm going to explain what you are going to do today. All Might interrupted. All Might then explained to them about how they are going to be doing a paired hero versus villain mock battle. Everyone seems to be fired up by the idea, and All Might presented them draw box to determine their partner and whether they will be heroes or villains in this mock battle. A few explanations later. Sensei. Iida asked All Might while doing his robotic hand chops. What is it, young Iida? All Might replied. The pairing and match-up seems to be quite tricky since we don't know the quirks of our partners as well as out opponents. Iida asked. About that, there are times when pro heroes are paired with other pro heroes that they don't know in a certain mission. This mock battle will help you to be versatile in case something like this might happen in the future. All Might answered. That's very wise of you, All Might sensei. Izuku teased All Might. All Might blushed in embarrassment as he just covered his face with the attendance chart that he is holding. We're partners, Midoriya. Achako said in a bubbly way. Just call me Izuku, Achako-chan. Izuku answered. Okay, Izuku. Achako smiled. All Might announced the first matchup will be Izuku and Ichako as heroes versus Bakugo and Iida as villains. All Might gave each of the students earpieces for instructions, and finally he then slowly walked towards Izuku and whispered on his ear. "Please take it easy on the kid, sensei." All Might pleaded. "Aren't I a student myself?" Izuku smirked. "Just don't go too overboard." All Might sighed. All Might instructed the rest of the student to come inside the monitoring room to watch the match while the heroes team were given a 10-minute break to plan their strategy. Ichako. "So what's the plan, Izuku?" Izuku. "They will most likely put the bomb at the utmost part of the building, so you will stealthily go there and retrieve the bomb. Knowing Bakugo's rash personality, he will most likely attack us first, so the bomb is your first priority while I keep Bakugo busy and give you way. Do you copy?" Izuku instructed. Ichako. "Yes. Good," Izuku said, patting the bubbly girl's head. "Time's up. Now heroes, remember you only have 15 minutes to either capture the villains or retrieve the bomb. Good luck," All Might said in their earpiece. "Let's go, Ichako-chan." Izuku smiled. Ichako nodded excitedly. They then both walked inside the building to start their mission. Izuku and Ichako entered the building. As soon as they got in, they got welcomed with a flying kick from the explosive Pomeranian, but Izuku pulled Ichako and evaded in time. "Whoa, calm your horses, boy," Izuku playfully said. "Shut up and quit struggling," the explosive teen shouted. "Ichako-chan, you go secure the bomb, and I'll keep this kid busy," Izuku whispered to Ichako. Ichako. "Is it just me or you're talking like an old man?" Izuku. "Don't mind the petty details and just go, leave everything to me down here." Ichako nodded as she proceeded to find the bomb upstairs. Bakugo was about to attack the bubbly gravity girl, but is blocked by Izuku. "Get out of my way, extra," Bakugo shouted at Izuku again. Izuku got pissed by Bakugo's constant yelling, so he slapped the exploding Pomeranian across the face, sending him a few meters back. "Shout at me again and I'll slap the hell out of you till all your teeth falls out," Izuku said, cracking his fingers, Kaneki style. Bakugo just held his cheeks as a searing pain can be felt across his face. Izuku's slap embedded a visible hand mark on Bakugo's cheeks, making the students in the monitoring room to laugh their ass out. "I'm gonna make you pay for this extra," Bakugo yelled, making explosion in his hands. "Bring it, boy," Izuku smirked. Bakugo launched a barrage of kicks and punches, but Izuku just flawlessly evaded them as if he is playing with a baby. "That all you got, kid?" Izuku taunted. Bakugo got extremely pissed and sent an explosion across Izuku's face. "How's that, nerd?" Bakugo laughed. When the smoke cleared out, Bakugo was shocked to see Izuku unscathed. "You have to do much better than that to hurt me." Izuku grinned. Bakugo was startled to see his attack to not have any effect at all. He shook his head and regained his composure. Bakugo stepped back a few meters. "Do you know what's this in my arms are? My quirk lets me make explosion out of the sweat in my hands. This suit helps me store my sweat and can be used to release it all in one go, making a massive explosion." Kitsuki smirked. Bakugo then slowly pulled the safety pin on his arm. "Young Bakugo, don't do it. You're going to get yourself killed," All Might warned Bakugo. "Isn't it supposed to be the other way around, Kiro?" Sai whispered to herself. "What was that?" Bakugo yelled, not hearing correctly. "Don't pull the pin, young Bakugo, someone's gonna die," All Might said in the earpiece. "The extra's not gonna die if he avoids it," Bakugo replied, almost unpinning his safety pin. "No, you idiot. It's for your own safety." All Might got cut off when the whole ground started shaking as Bakugo released a gigantic explosion towards Izuku. The students in the room started panicking that maybe something bad happened in ground beta. The monitor got covered in smoke as All Might and the students couldn't see a thing. When the smoke cleared out, they saw Izuku still standing, not even moved an inch, and Bakugo panting due to exhaustion. They were surprised to see that the building still looks the same, as if the massive explosion never happened. "What the hell did you do, you bastard?" Bakugo yelled, gritting his teeth. "That was pretty dangerous, you know that," Izuku replied, smiling. "He's dead," All Might said, shivering upon seeing his former teacher's seemingly harmless smile. "What do you mean, sensei?" Momo asked. "You just have to watch young Yaoi Rozu," All Might replied, still trembling. Back to Izuku and Bakugo. "That attack should have gravely injured you," Bakugo shouted in disbelief. "Oh, you talking about this?" Izuku replied, presenting a small red orb in his hands. "What's that supposed to be?" Bakugo yelled. "Your fireworks display can quite be troublesome, so I stored it inside this little orb," Izuku replied, smiling again. Bakugo flinched at the statement. Even All Might got cold feet seeing this, while the rest of the class were either amazed or shocked by what they just witnessed. "You're lying. Why, you probably bluffed on purpose to catch me off guard." Bakugo nervously laughed. "Wanna try whether I'm lying, little boy?" Izuku grinned, walking towards Bakugo. Izuku then swallowed the orb. Bakugo was confused by his actions. A vague explosion can be heard on Izuku's stomach soon after as he burped. Now that's unappetizing. Izuku said as smoke left his mouth. What are you gonna do? Bakugo shouted in fear. It's you who said I'm bluffing, so I'm just gonna correct myself real quick. Izuku responded grinning. And the hero team wins. All Might interrupted. As it turns out, Ochako has secured the bomb by sneaking up on Iida, gaining them the win. It seems like we won. Izuku said, turning his back on the trembling Bakugo. Thank you so much, young Uraraka. Young Bakugo is really lucky this time. I don't know what would happen if Izuku-sensei really got his hands on Bakugo. All Might thought, shivering. Man, I thought we would get to see Midoribro kick Bakubro's ass. Kirishima sighed. All Might just awkwardly laughed. Izuku went upstairs to check on Ochako. When he arrived, he saw her and Iida happily chatting about their battle. Am I disturbing you two lovebirds? Izuku interrupted. Both Ochako and Iida blushed when Izuku said those words. That's not what it looks like, Izuku. Ochako stuttered. Yeah, we were just having a fun conversation. Iida added. If you say so. Izuku replied. Izuku then praised Ochako for her amazing performance in retrieving the objective. The three of them then walked towards the monitoring room to meet the rest of the class, while Bakugo was sent to Recovery Girl's office due to passing out. When they arrived, they got bombarded by questions by some of their classmates. Settle down now, everyone. All Might butted in. The class then got silent and directed their attention to the No. 1 hero. Now who could tell me the rightful MVP of this match? All Might asked. Mina. Ochako. Since she was the one who finished the task. Momo. I think it's Izuku because he was the one assessing the situation and he's the one that handled the opposing team's powerhouse while Ochako goes for the bomb. Not bad, young Yaoi Rozu. Izuku undoubtedly is the MVP of this match as he is both calm and collected and can analyze the situation very well. All Might answered. Oh, I'm so very grateful for your praise, All Might sensei. Izuku playfully said. All Might. Cough. You're so amazing, Izuku. Ochako excitedly squealed. I couldn't have done it without you, cutie. Izuku replied, petting her head. Ochako just blushed as smoke came out of her head while the rest of the girls glared at her with jealousy. I want to get patted in the head too. The girls thought in unison. After that, the rest of the match concluded. The next day. Aizawa. Class, today we're going to USJ. Mina. USJ. Universal Studios Japan. Aizawa sigh. Unforeseen simulation joint. Kirishima. What's that, sensei? Aizawa. You'll know when you get there. The class then got on the bus that will take them to USJ. Aizawa sat next to Izuku. Izuku. So what's this USJ thing, Aizawa-kan? It was built a few years after you left, sensei. The place was especially made for rescue heroes to train in. Aizawa whispered. That's so? Izuku said, playing with his imaginary beard. After a few minutes they have arrived. The class got surprised when they got welcomed by the pro hero, 13. Kaya. It's 13-san. Ochako squealed. Many girls fangirled at the pro hero, while the guys admired the massive place. What's the commotion all about? Izuku asked, yawning as he is the last to get out of the bus. Izuku see. 13 blurted out but was interrupted by Aizawa. Don't just blurt out Izuku-sensei's identity like that, he is currently a student in UA right now, so act like you don't know him. Aizawa warned, whispering. 13 made an okay hand sign as Aizawa sighed in relief. Aizawa gathered the class and explained to them of what they are going to do. This is the USJ where you get to train to rescue people on different possible situations. Aizawa explained, pointing out to locations with seemingly different settings and climate, weather. So cool. You even got fake villains here. Kirishima said while directing his sight on a portal where people who looked like villains came out. Those are real villains. 13 help me protect the students. Aizawa yelled. Way to jinx it, Reed. Izuku grinned. How can you make jokes at times like this, Midoribro? Kirishima replied, flustered. Okay, everyone calm down and get inside the bus. Izuku instructed. The class followed to Izuku's instructions and got inside the bus, except for one exploding Pomeranian. And who are you to tell me that extra? If it's real villain, I'll just kick their asses. Bakugo yelled. If you say so. Izuku said as he grabbed Bakugo's collar and threw him towards the villains. The whole class was shocked by what Izuku just did. Even Aizawa and 13 just facepalmed by Izuku's unpredictable actions. Bakugo got up only to see Shigaraki, Kurogiri and the Nomu in front of him. Nomu, get him. Shigaraki commanded. The Nomu charged at Bakugo. The explosive teen also attacked with an explosion towards the Nomu, but it didn't even leave a mark. The Nomu swung its arm, which caused Bakugo to lose his balance as he fell butt first. It was about to punch him, but Bakugo got pulled back to Izuku before the Nomu's punch hit him. Do you still want to try again? Izuku asked Bakugo with his signature back shivering smile again. And no. Bakugo replied, trembling from fear, not from the Nomu but Izuku. Good, now get inside the bus before I beat you up myself. Izuku said, pointing at the bus. Bakugo ran towards the bus and got inside, still shaking. Izuku then put a protective barrier around the bus to ensure the student's safety. Now where were we? Oh right. Izuku asked himself. Izuku walked to the villains along with Aizawa and 13. Izuku. What seems to be your purpose of being here, gentlemen? Shigaraki. Where is All Might? Aizawa. What do you want to do with him? Shigaraki. We're going to capture him and let Master take his quirk. We will start from the No. 1 hero up to the rest of the people in the world prior to Master's order. 13. Like hell we'd let you. Izuku. Calm down now, children, let's not escalate this matter any further. Kurogiri. From what I can see, you're the child one here. Who gave you permission to speak? Izuku said as Kurogiri knelt down due to pressure being pressed on his back. What did you do, brat? Shigaraki questioned, startled. Izuku. It's bad manners to speak up to your elders, didn't anyone taught you that? Nomu, kill this brat. Shigaraki commanded. The Nomu delivered a punch towards Izuku, but Izuku stopped it with only one finger. Shigaraki had mixed emotion of fear and oppression. Beggin. Izuku said as the Nomu exploded into nothingness. Why, you're cheating. The Nomu was supposed to be stronger than All Might. Shigaraki stuttered from fear. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you as long as you follow what I say. Izuku smiled. That smile of his is always giving shivers every goddamn time. Both 13 and Aizawa thought. Who dares to hurt my beloved disciple? An oppressive voice said while walking out of a portal. Both Aizawa and 13 felt that the one walking out of the portal is an extremely dangerous person as they positioned themselves in a battle stance. Master. Shigaraki exclaimed. The person revealed himself to be no other than the world's most powerful villain, All for One. All for One. Aizawa uttered as he got ready for a frontal battle. Hey, who is that buffed guy, 13-chan? Izuku whispered. He is the leader of the League of Villains. 13 answered. Izuku. Is that so? Doesn't look that intimidating to me. 13. It's more like there's nobody in this world as intimidating in your eyes at all. How dare you ignore me? All for One yelled, swinging his quirk-powered arms. Both Aizawa and 13 flew to the sheer force of All for One's attack, but they were caught by Izuku mid-air and landed them near the bus. You two stay here and protect the students in case anything happens. Izuku instructed his former students. But sensei. Will you be alright? 13 questioned. Silly child, have you forgotten who I am? Izuku answered with a smile. Aizawa, 13. Gulp. Laughed awkwardly. Izuku then dashed to All for One's location, leaving the students in both pro-heroes' hands. A kid dares to confront me. How laughable these heroes are to hide behind a child still wet behind the ears. All for One sneered. Why are you doing this? I will decide what to do with you depending on your answer. Izuku warned. Still talking big, huh? All for One laughed. You can't underestimate this kid, master, he demolished the Nomu in just a split second. Shigaraki informed All for One. Interesting, how about joining the league, boy? All for One suggested. Izuku. Is that your answer? All for One. What are you spouting? Izuku. If that's all you have to say, then goodbye. Izuku can be seen firing a beam of light towards All for One's face. Almost half the USJ got obliterated by Izuku's attack. That's strange, I was sure that attack hit him, but I felt like theirs it was blocked somehow. Izuku said to himself while touching his imaginary beard. When the dust cleared out, Izuku saw All for One surrounded by a barrier. What was that abnormal raw power? If I didn't cast my shield on time, I'd surely be dead by now. All for One thought in his mind. Izuku. Oya. You're still alive after that. Just what in hell are you? There's no way a kid like you can have that much power. All for One yelled. Just your typical law-abiding citizen. You know what, you really surprised me. To think there is someone who can take my attack other than my yay. Yay? All for One questioned in his mind. You couldn't be. Father? All for One asked, stuttering. Did you hit your head or something? I don't remember having a dude as my child. Izuku replied, raising an eyebrow. Father, it is you. All for One yelled excitedly. Didn't you hear what I just said? I only have my dear daughter and she's the cutest in the world. Woohaha. Izuku replied, laughing maniacally. All for One. Then got enveloped in a strange light, and when the light subdued, a beautiful woman in who looks like in her mid-20s standing in All for One's supposed position. Otu-sama. All for One exclaimed as she ran towards Izuku to hug him, but Izuku grabbed her cheek, causing her to make a duck-like expression. Get away from me. Izuku struggled, containing One for All. Wow, Ohama. I really miss Headchu. All for One said with her cheek still grabbed by Izuku. Miraculously One for All overpowered Izuku and tackled him in a hug. The power of love, I guess. It's me, your most precious, One for all, said, snuggling to Izuku tightly. How would Izuku react to this sudden reunion with his supposed daughter? Izuku. So you are telling me you're Yae? If I remembered correctly, she was just like a small animal always clinging to me. I have grown too, you know. Do you even know how long you disappeared, father? Yae exclaimed, sobbing. Please forgive me, my dear child, for not being a good father. Izuku said, gently patting Yae's back. I thought I'd never see you again. Yae said, hugging Izuku while crying heavily. Izuku was about to comfort his child, but I am here. All Might entered with a loud bang, along with Nezu, Midnight and other UA staff. Izuku, are you alright? By the way, who is that bitch beside you? Midnight questioned, pointing at Yae. What did you say, you exhibitionist? Yae retaliated. Midnight. What did you just say? Izuku couldn't take the situation anymore, created a barrier which sucked in Nezu, All Might, Aizawa, and Midnight. The barrier made them invisible from the outside, and it's soundproof. What is this, Izuku-sensei? All Might asked, confused. I pulled you in here because this is quite a tricky situation. Izuku replied. You still haven't answered my question, Izuku. Who's that woman? Midnight asked with crossed arms. Izuku. Ah, she is. Yae. You have no right to talk like that, my father. Father. All of the teachers and Nezu yelled in surprise. Izuku just facepalmed as the situation has gone way out of control. It's true, Izuku-sensei has been with us since we were just kids, but we haven't heard anything about him having a child, the most wanted villain in the world at that. Aizawa stated calmly. You foolish humans, how dare you utter my father's name that nonchalantly? Yae growled. Stop it, Yae. Izuku said. Yae. But father. Izuku. It's okay, just calm down. Yae. Oh, okay. After Yae settled down, Izuku began to talk. Clear his throat. As you can see, this is my daughter Yae, and as for why she became a villain is not of my knowledge. Izuku started. If you really are Izuku's daughter, why did you become a villain? Midnight questioned Yae, quite pissed off knowing her Izuku, self-assumed, had a daughter. You human scums. I will never forgive you for what you've done. Yae yelled. What did we ever do to you for you to hold that much grudge towards us? Aizawa asked. You selfish humans are the reason my mother died, why my father was sealed. Because of your greedy desires for power, you even had that audacity to bare your fangs on father who gave you your power. Giving you scum's quirks is probably the biggest mistake father has made. You humans betrayed his trust. Yae shouted angrily with tears forming in her eyes. Izuku saw this and hugged his daughter as tightly as he can. Yae couldn't help but burst in tears as bitter memories from her past came flooding back to her. Nezu and the other pro-heroes just stood there not making a single sound as they felt in Yae's words. SSHHHHH, it's okay now, my dear daughter, father is here. Izuku said, still hugging the crying Yae. I'm sorry, it seems like I touched a sensitive topic. Aizawa apologized. Don't mind it, Aizawa, my daughter is just delicate to this as she lost her mother at a tender age. Besides, this happened a few hundred years ago, so it's not your fault. Izuku smiled to Aizawa. Every one of them just can't seem to process what Yae and Izuku just said. Hundreds. Just how old are you, Izuku? Nezu stuttered as he can't believe what he just heard. SSHHSHHHHH, lower your voice. Izuku said as he saw Yae fallen asleep in his embrace. Everyone just nodded in agreement. You had it rough, my sweetie. I'm sorry if I'm not there with you the time when you needed me the most. Izuku said in his mind as he kissed Yae's forehead. After Yae fell asleep in Izuku's arms, he instructed the rest of the teachers except Midnight to escort the students back in school. It seems Kurogiri and Shigaraki made their escape when the commotion took off. Izuku also rewritten the students' memories about the incident along the way to avoid further problems, and also fixing USJ, it was practically Izuku's fault after all. Izuku asked Midnight if they can take Yae in Midnight's residence, in which the R-rated hero agreed in reluctance. When they arrived, Izuku gently placed his daughter in his bed to let her sleep further. By the time Izuku got out of his room, he bombarded by questions by Nomuri such as, who really is that woman? Is she really your daughter? Does that mean you're already married? Teary eyes. Izuku tried to calm Nomuri down. Calm down, Nomuri-chan, I'll explain everything to you. Izuku said to the almost on the verge of crying Nomuri. Why is she even crying though? Izuku thought. Izuku then started explaining. Flashback. Hundreds of years ago, Izuku met a little girl, but she was blind, so Izuku out of pity healed her eyes. After that, the girl just can't seem to separate from Izuku. Why are you always following me, little girl? Izuku asked. Because I've decided that you're going to be my husband, Dezu. The little girl said proudly. Is that so? That's news to me. What makes you want to be my bride? Izuku asked awkwardly. Because you're good looking, Dezu. The girl answered. Izuku. Is that supposed to be a question? I fell in love with you because not only you healed my eyes with your mysterious powers, you also showed me just how beautiful this world is. I lived in the dark all my life, so I'm really thankful for it, Desu. The girl answered, smiling her best smile. Izuku. That isn't love, my dearie, that's just gratefulness. No, it's not, Desu. The girl yelled, pouting. Okay, let's just make it like this. One day when you grow up and still feel the same about me, I'll marry you. How about that? Izuku suggested in amusement. You got yourself a deal, Desu. The girl agreed. By the way, what's your name? Izuku asked. I'm Miyu, Desu. The girl replied. Izuku. What about your family? They died fighting in the war. Miyu answered, saddened. I'm sorry about that, Miyu, I didn't know. Izuku apologized. Miyu. It's okay, it's not your fault. So where are you staying right now? Izuku asked, curious. I'm now working as a servant in a household, Desu. Miyu answered. That must be hard for you. I say, how about coming to live with me? Izuku suggested. Miyu. Like you mean you're going to adopt me, Desu? Izuku. No, you silly. Oh. Miyu let out a small sad response. If I adopt you, that would make you my daughter. You want to marry me, right? Izuku smiled. Miyu went from a saddened expression to a joyous one quickly as she hugged Izuku tightly. Would you come live with me, Miyu? Izuku said, hugging the little girl back. Glady. Miyu responded in glee. After that, Izuku bought Miyu from the household that she is working in as a slave and came to live together with Izuku in a humble mansion in the city. Let's buy you new clothes, your clothes are torn and ragged. Izuku said to Miyu. Okay, Desu. Miyu replied while checking her clothing. After that, both of them went to the finest tailor shop in the city. We're here, Miyu. Izuku said when they arrived. Miyu just nodded excitedly. Hello, good sir, how may I help you today? The shop's owner asked. I want you to buy some clothing that suits this little girl. Izuku said, pointing to Miyu. What a filthy little brat. The owner thought. Will this suffice as payment? Izuku asked, handing out a gold coin. This. The owner stuttered upon seeing that big of an amount of money. Is something the matter? Izuku asked. The owner then went back to his senses. I will present to you the finest set that we have that will surely fit this young miss. The owner exclaimed. I will live it up to you. Izuku smiled. After a while, Miyu came out wearing a very well-tailored pink striped kimono. How do I look, Desu? Miyu asked bashfully. You really suits you. Izuku complimented. Arigato, Desu. Miyu replied, embarrassed. The clothes you gave her are really beautiful. Izuku said to the owner. It is my pleasure, honorable sir, visit again and I will serve you anytime. The owner replied. Will do, let's go home, Miyu. Izuku said, holding the little girl's small hand. While the two are walking back home, they have caught the attention of a few people along the way. Who is that man? He's so handsome. The little girl with him is cute too. She seems like his daughter. They look so adorable together. These were the few conversations some of them whispered about. Upon hearing the people's whispers, Miyu couldn't help but lower her head and made a saddened expression. Are you okay, Miyu? Izuku asked when he saw Miyu's expression. It's nothing, Desu. Miyu replied. Izuku didn't take her answer, but instead picked her up and carried her, which made the unsuspecting child to let out a surprised squeal. What are you doing, Desu? Miyu asked, flustered. You look like you're in a bad mood, so I thought this might cheer you up. Izuku replied, smiling. Do you also see me as a child, Desu? Miyu asked with teary eyes. So that's what you're concerned about? Izuku sighed. But everyone see us as a parent and a child, and I don't like that. I want to be your wife, Desu. Miyu replied. Don't mind what they say, I'm sure in a few years you turn out to be a very beautiful woman. Izuku comforted. Really, Desu? Miyu exclaimed. Really? Izuku smiled. And by that time I can be your wife? Miyu asked excitedly. Izuku. If you still feel the same about me by that time. Miyu. Promise, Desu? Izuku. Sigh. It's a promise. Yay, Desu. Miyu yelled in excitement, hugging Izuku by the neck while rubbing her cheeks on his. Why do I feel like I'm doing some sort of crime? Izuku said internally. Oh, you sure fucking did, you damn lollican. Many years had passed, and Miyu is now a full-grown woman, but her feelings for Izuku still haven't changed. In fact, it became even stronger than ever over the past years she had been with him. This is what Miyu looks over the years. Shall we get married now, Desu? Miyu asked, grinning while extending her hand. Izuku. Are you sure about this? You promised, Desu. Miyu said playfully. Sigh. You win. Izuku sighed while taking Miyu's hand. Flashback end. And that's how I met Yae's mother. Izuku said, finishing his story. Midnight.exe has stopped working. Hey Namuri-chan. Everything okay? Izuku asked, shaking Namuri's shoulders. Smoke came out of Midnight's head as she can't quite perceive all the information she just heard. After a few minutes, she finally got a grip on herself. So you're telling me you're already married? Nomuri asked with a single tear forming on the sides of her purple eyes. Yes, basically, but I'm a widower as of present. Izuku answered. Then I still have a shot at this. Midnight thought with a creepy grin on her face. Ugh, I don't like that face you're making. Izuku sweat dropped. It's nothing, you must be imagining things. Midnight denied. Okay, I'm going to wake my daughter now. Can you order some food for us to eat for dinner? Izuku asked. Leave it to me. Midnight answered as she went to her phone to order some pizzas. Izuku on the other hand went to his room to check to his daughter. He then heard Yae mumbling in her sleep. Father, please don't leave me. You're the only one I have left. Izuku felt guilty of himself from leaving his precious daughter all alone this whole time. He then walked towards Yae and gave her a gentle kiss on the forehead. This woke Yae up as she slowly opened her eyes. Father, where am I? Yae asked as she rubbed her eyes awake. Izuku. You're in the house I'm living in right now. Yae. Is that so? Yae, I promise you that I won't leave you all alone ever again. I'm sorry if I didn't become an ideal parent for you. Izuku said as he embraced his daughter. Yae started crying as she returned the hug. I don't blame you, mother's loss must also be hard on you, right, father? Yae responded. Izuku. You're a really kind girl just like your mother. Yae felt warm in Izuku's embrace, it's something she longed for a very long time. Now wipe those tears up, my dear, let's go down to eat dinner now, shall we? Izuku said as he wiped some of his daughter's tears away. They both went to the kitchen to eat dinner. Oh Izuku, you're here, it's been delivered, so let's eat. No. Midnight was cut off of what she said when she saw Yae clinging to Izuku so tight as they walked to the kitchen. What are you doing, you bitch? Midnight growled. Beh. I'm not giving papa to anyone, especially to a slut like you. Yae exclaimed as she stuck her tongue out. Midnight, what did you say, you brat? Yae. Don't call me brat, I'm older than you. They then smashed their heads onto each other while gritting their teeth. A dragon and a tiger can be seen fighting in the background. Papa. Izuku thought. A few moments later. Okay, stop fighting already, the food's gonna get cold otherwise. Izuku butted in, stopping the two of them. They then sat down and started eating, but the two women still stares daggers to each other. Can you please stop this childish fight of yours? And by the way, Yae, what's this papa thing? Izuku sighed. Yae. Well papa, since we're in modern times now, calling you father all the time would be pretty awkward, don't you agree? I think you calling him papa is even more awkward. Midnight thought as she kept munching on her pizza. The three of them finally finished eating dinner. Midnight is now washing the dishes that they ate in. Yae is now ready to go to the Lob's hideout to disband it, since while Yae's purpose is taking people's quirks to take revenge, the main purpose of the league is to find Izuku, so the Lob is now useless since she already found Izuku. Papa, I'm going to go now. Well, I hate for you to be alone with that woman, I still have some stuff to sort out. Yae said, glaring at Midnight's back. Chills. Why does it feel cold all of a sudden? Midnight thought as she held her arms together. Be careful papa, don't let her take advantage of you while I'm gone. Yae instructed. Yes, I will be careful. You should get going now, see you later my dear. Izuku replied, scratching his nape. Yae then hugged Izuku one more time before departing. Miyu, our daughter is all grown up now, if only you were here to see this. I promise to protect all my loved ones this time, at which I failed to do so in the past at all cost. Izuku thought as he gazed at the night sky illuminated by the mesmerizing light of the moon. A week later. Aizawa. Okay class, today you're going to be meeting the member of the Big Three. Kirishima. Big Three. Momo. They're supposed to be the three strongest students in this school. Kirishima. Wow, so manly. Aizawa. Big Three, come in. The door then opened and three people came in front of the classroom and introduced themselves. Hi everyone, we're third-year students and are part of the Big Three. I'm Mirio Tagada, nice to meet you. A guy with a cartoon-like face said. I'm Nijire Hado, I can't wait to find out what your quirks are. A beautiful girl with periwinkle hair color. Hi, I'm Tamaki Amajiki. A boy with indigo-colored hair shyly introduced himself. The third years gained quite the impression on the students. So they're the Big Three, they look so cool. Mina exclaimed. Yeah, especially those melons. Mineta drooled, ogling to Nijire's breasts, but got town slapped by Tsayu. Pervert. All the girls thought. Are they strong? How about a little sparring match? Kitsuki growled. That's a good idea, might as well show these students just how lacking they still are. Aizawa grinned. Big Three, huh? Let's see if UA's students improved than in the past. Izuku grinned. The class together with the Big Three went to Gym Gamma to proceed on their sparring match. To make things fair, I will be the only one to fight the whole class. Mirio said to the whole class. Some of the students got surprised by Mirio's proclamation, some even got pissed off because it means Mirio is underestimating them. "I'm going to make you eat those words, you extra," Bakugo yelled. "Mirio here is only stating the facts, you are all still greenhorns to take on all three of us." Nejire interrupted. "What did you say?" Bakugo growled. "Calm down, don't let your anger get the better of you," Izuku said, holding the Pomeranian's shoulders. "Bakugo. Why would I listen to you? Fix your attitude on me while I'm still being nice," Izuku said with a kind smile that sent shivers to Bakugo's spine. Bakugo. "Oh okay. Wow, Bakubro is being tamed by Izubro. That's so manly," Kirishima said. "That's obvious, did you forget what happened to the mock battle last time?" Jiro reminded. They just shivered to the thought of ever angering Izuku. "What's even so great about that guy? I'm the strongest one here, and I'm going to prove it to them by beating one of the big three in this match," Todoroki said in his mind. "By the way, Izuku, you are exempted to participate in this match. You can just watch with the rest of the big three." Aizawa said to Izuku. "Why though?" Izuku asked. Aizawa. "Oh, you know why. Fine, whatever," Izuku said as he joined the other members of the B3. "Hi." Nejire greeted Izuku. "Hello little girl." Ikusuke replied in a bored tone. "Little girl. But I'm older, right?" Nejire thought. Shook head. Nejire. "By the way. What's your name?" Izuku. "Midoriya, Izuku Midoriya." Nejire. "Midoriya. I might have heard that before, do you possibly have connections to the Midoriya Corporation?" "What are you talking about?" Izuku said, feigning ignorance. Nejire. "Well, when I've gone overseas with my parents, I got the chance to go inside the most famous hero suit making company in the world, and that is the Midoriya Corporation." Izuku. "Nope, never heard of them." Nejire. "Oh okay. Anyway, let's just watch how this match unfold." Izuku sighed. The fight started but was over in an instant. Mirio used his quirk permeation to pass through solid object to dodge or use it to attack. Class 1A's coordination is all over the place, some even hit their classmates with their quirks due to Mirio's agile movements. It didn't take long before all of them got taken down. "So what do you think, Mirio is strong, right?" Nejire asked Izuku. "I can't believe the performance of students in today's time has already downgraded this much. This wasn't like this in the past." Izuku muttered to himself. "What are you mumbling about, Izuku?" Nejire asked curiously. "Aizawa." Izuku yelled, startling both Nejire and Tamaki. Aizawa knew it was coming and just walked towards Izuku, avoiding eye contact as much as possible. "What is it?" Aizawa tried to be calm, not to embarrass himself to the students. "What is the meaning of this? How come the strongest of the school only amounts to this much? Are you really raising them to be heroes?" Izuku growled. "This devil teacher, of course the students in today's time cannot be compared in the past. Do you even remember all those hellish training you put us through in the past? I should even congratulate the students that they didn't learn from you." Aizawa cursed in his mind. "You do remember that I can read minds if I want to, right?" Izuku said with a tick mark on his forehead. Gulp. "I'm dead, goodbye my life. You know what, forget it. I don't even have the strength to be angry anymore. Probably because of old age." Izuku sighed. Aizawa. "Phew. I'm going to Nezu's office right now, you take care of this mess," Izuku said as we was about to leave. "Hey, wait a minute." Mirio stopped Izuku. "You got business with me, cartoon face? I suggest you hold out on pissing me off since I'm in a very bad mood right now," Izuku said, pissed. Mirio. "You really got a lot of guts for a first year, huh? I don't know what you talked with Aizawa-sensei, but I just can't let you off after yelling at a teacher. What are you implying?" Izuku growled, almost reaching his boiling point. Mirio. "Come here on top and I'll teach you a lesson about manners." Aizawa. I suggest you stop this, Mirio." Mirio. "Don't worry, Aizawa-sensei, I will be lenient." "That's not what I meant," Aizawa said. "Quiet, Aizawa. You with the cartoon face, I'll accompany you in your little charade." Izuku smirked as he goes up the stage. "The two of you, could you move the students out of the stage?" Izuku asked Tamaki and Nejire. Nejire as well as Tamaki didn't understand, but their senses tells them to absolutely obey what Izuku said. After the students got removed, Mirio went to his fighting stance. "Aizawa, I want you to call recovery girl here. I might not control myself at this rate," Izuku ordered Aizawa. "Crap, it's really happening. The devil teacher is awakened." Aizawa screamed in his mind as he dashed to RG's office. "Let's start, shall we?" Izuku grinned as his inner teacher mode got activated. "Clench your teeth properly," Izuku said as he began walking towards Mirio. While Mirio couldn't finish what he said as Izuku suddenly appeared in front like thin air. Izuku delivered a fast jab on Mirio's torso. Mirio couldn't activate his on time as he took the punch, which broke some of his ribs. He was sent a few meters back, but was able to use his quirk to negate the damage of impact on the ground. What the hell? Tamaki exclaimed in shock. I couldn't even see Izuku move. Midoriya added. The rest of the students of Wano were either amazed or jealous of Izuku's fighting prowess. What was that? I couldn't even react to that attack. If I get hit by that one more time I would surely lose. Mirio thought as he held his chest in pain. Oi, oi. Don't tell me that's the top student in UA is only capable of. I'm utterly disappointed after all your bullshit about teaching me a lesson. Izuku said as he cracked his fists. Don't get your hopes up, you just caught me off guard, that's all. That's not gonna happen again. Mirio replied as he slowly stood up. Mirio then went on his fighting stance and dashed towards Izuku. He went for a kick, but his attack just passed through Izuku. What? Is his quirk just like Mirio's? Midoriya exclaimed. Momo. What was Izuku's quirk again? Echako. Now that I think about it, we never got to know what his quirk is all this time. Kaminari. If his quirk is like Mirio-senpai, then what about what he did in the mock battle against Bakugo? Does that mean he has multiple quirks then? Jiro. Way to go about using your brain. Kaminari. What did you say? I'm not that dumb. Jiro. Yeah right. Back in the fight. What the? Is his quirk permeation too? Mirio questioned in his mind as he backed off after the failed attack. Not too shabby, I must say you do have bit of ability. But you're still very much lacking. Izuku said as he did little hand sign. Izuku. Let me show you just how big the difference is between us. Domain expansion. Still void. After Izuku uttered those words, a sphere of energy quickly expanded encompassing both Izuku and Mirio. Mirio got sucked into the sphere and the next thing he knew he is surrounded by nothingness. Where am I? Mirio thought. You're in my domain, you cannot use your quirk in here no matter how hard you try. Izuku's voice around the void. Where are you? Show yourself. Mirio exclaimed a little intimidated. Izuku. Silence little one. Mirio's mouth was shut closed as he couldn't utter a single word. Out of his vocals. You made two mistakes. First, you confronted me without knowing how powerful I am. Confidence is different from cockiness. That's not a mindset a hero should have. Second is making me angry, you should have just shut your mouth when I'm still being nice. You have yourself to blame for all of this. Mirio couldn't do anything as he is powerless in Izuku's domain. He felt fear that he hadn't experienced before. Remember when I told you that I'm going to show just how big the difference there is between us, be ready to savor every moment of it. Izuku's cold voice echoed throughout the sphere of darkness, bringing chill on Mirio's spine. Rupture. All of Mirio's bones broke from head to toe. He felt agonizing pain that he never felt in all his life. He felt the feeling of death. After that, Mirio went unconscious due to extreme pain that his whole body went through. Are we done already? That's a pity, I still have lots more punishment lined up. Oh well, nothing we can do about that. Izuku said as he disabled his domain. Every student was shocked to see an unconscious Mirio on the ground. Bakugo. What happened? How could Midoriya defeat the top student when we couldn't even land a scratch on him when all of us worked together? Shoto growled in his mind. The other two members of the B3 then went to Mirio's aid. They were shocked to see that he didn't have any wound or injuries at all. What did you do to him, Izuku? Midoriya asked. Nothing much, just disciplining an ignorant child. Take care of the mess here, I'm going to Nezu's office first. Izuku replied as he started walking to the principal's office. In Nezu's office. Nezu. What a fine day for a peaceful cup of tea. Boom. Suddenly, the door exploded causing Nezu to choke some of the tea he is drinking. What happened? Nezu exclaimed. How are you doing, Nezu? I have some things to discuss with you. Izuku said as he walked inside. Oh Izuku, what brings you here and also destroying my office's door at that? Nezu asked looking at his shattered door. Izuku. I'll fix that later, sit down first, I have something to say. Nezu. Oh alright. Nezu complied as both of them sat down and Nezu served Izuku some tea. Let me get to the point, Nezu, what happened to this school's standards for a short time that I'm away? Izuku asked while sipping on his tea. What do you mean, Izuku? Everything is in proper order. Nezu replied nervously. Proper order, huh? Since when did the students here in UA become this weak? It might be understandable if they're just first years, but the top student at that. Izuku said, piercing his gaze into Nezu. Nezu knew that he fucked up, he predicted this day would come. Nezu can't possibly hide this fact from Izuku for long. I'm sorry Izuku, we purposely lowered this school's standards because the passing rate in the past is less than 1%. Nezu explained. So you want this school to produce lousy ass heroes in exchange? You must know why I was harsh in my evaluation when I taught here, right? Izuku questioned. Nezu. It seems you still can't forget what happened that day. Yes, that's right. Izuku answered. It turns out that years ago when Izuku was still a teacher in UA, one of his students got killed in a villain attack when that student was taking his hero licensure examination. Izuku blamed himself for what happened, that if only he taught his students more attentively, that incident wouldn't have happened. That's why from that day onward, Izuku was harsher and a lot more strict with his teachings. He trained the students to their utmost best to prevent something like that to happen ever again. Nezu, I want you to tell the other staffs here to dramatically increase their evaluation over the students. It's for the best. Izuku said. Izuku, I might not be able to comply to that request. The current students may not handle that, causing a lot of them to fail. Our school can't possibly afford that. Nezu pardoned. Izuku. Nezu. Yes. Did I sound like I'm asking? Izuku asked in a cold voice which made Nezu shudder. Crap, I completely forgot who Izuku is. I shouldn't provoke him at any cost, or the whole country might just get involved. Nezu's sweat dropped. And no. Nezu nervously replied. Good. You must do what I said without fail, have I made myself clear? Izuku said motherfuckerly. Yes, I'll get it done immediately, Nezu replied, sweating profusely. Just being near Izuku made it hard for the principal to breathe properly. Izuku began walking out of the office, but before he left he stretched out his hands onto where the pieces of the door is. The pieces floated and began to piece itself together just how it looked like before. I shall take my leave now. Izuku said as he left. Izuku left. Nezu almost passed out due to the pressure Izuku is exuding. Izuku then goes outside of the school ground to take a walk to get some fresh air. While walking, Izuku encountered in an alleyway a white-haired little girl with a single small horn on the side of her forehead. She was running only wearing tattered piece of clothing. What seems to be the problem, little one? Izuku asked, lifting up the poor girl. He is chasing me. I don't want to go back there. I don't like pain. The girl cried. You poor sweetheart, rest assured I won't let anything happen to you. Izuku said as he gently caressed the girl's head. Eri? Where are you? A voice echoed in the dark side of the alley. He's here. Eri's voice trembled. Oh, here you are, Eri. Come here and don't bother the boy. A man appeared in the shadows. Is he the bad guy you're talking about, sweetie? Izuku asked Eri. Eri. Why, yes. It seems my daughter had troubled you, young man. Could I ask you return her to me? The man asked. Silence. Izuku ordered in a cold voice. The man couldn't move nor speak after Izuku uttered that word. If I remember correctly, you're the leader of the 8 precepts of death of Varhol, am I right? For you to lie to me while wearing a parrot costume, how laughable. Izuku glared. Overhaul could not even move a finger. He also can't activate his quirk, so he is practically helpless right now. Is Eri your name? Izuku asked the girl. Yes, that's right. Eri replied, still trembling. Izuku. Then Eri dear, could you tell me what that bad guy has done to you? He would experiment on me and my quirk all the time and put scary needles on my body. Eri answered while shuddering. This angered Izuku, seeing a child go through all those abuse. Eri, could you close your eyes and cover your ears for a bit? Izuku asked. Eri did as Izuku said. She covered her ears with her tiny hands and closed her eyes and buried her head on Izuku's chest. I didn't expect that there would still be scums like you left in the society. Die for me. Izuku growled. Izuku spread his fingers wide towards the incapacitated Varhol and quickly closed it down, crushing Overhaul to death. Blood spread everywhere in the alleyway, and all that's left of the villain is a crushed ball of flesh and guts. Izuku took Eri under his custody in the meantime. Izuku initially wanted to put Eri in an orphanage to take care of her, but the child just won't let go of him. Izuku, with no other choice, took Eri to Nomuri's residence. Nomuri, on the other hand, agreed to temporarily shelter the poor girl. The child still can't calm down, even though she is already safe due to her accumulated trauma. Izuku wants to get Eri treated to the hospital, but Eri refused as she trembled. Izuku went with her decision as he let her sleep in his arms while singing a lullaby. Nomuri, who was listening, also fell asleep, and she laid on the floor face first. As Eri was asleep, Izuku covered the girl in a warm light, slowly healing her wounds and even her scars. Her malnourished and unhealthy body was no more. When she woke up, she was much better than she ever was before. Eri was overjoyed as her smile came back. Izuku just smiled to her kindly and kissed her forehead. Nomuri, who is watching, also demanded for a kiss of her own. 3 days later. Eri is now slowly recovering her from her mental health. Izuku spent the last 3 days taking care of her. That means he was absent for that allotted time. Izuku is now getting ready to go back to school, but Eri still wouldn't let go. Eri, I'm going to school now, said Izuku while patting Eri's head. No. Don't leave me, Papa. Eri insisted, still clinging to Izuku. Papa. Thought Izuku as Ye's face popped in his head. Izuku didn't have a choice, so he carried Eri and brought her to school. Along the way, they caught many of the people's attention. Kaya. Who's that girl? She's so adorable. I know, right? The boy carrying her is also cute, don't you think? Maybe she's his sister. They look so good together. They also got unwarranted attention inside of the school grounds. Izuku went to Principal Nezu's office and asked for approval to bring Eri to class. Nezu questioningly agreed to Izuku's unprecedented request. As Izuku is walking in the corridor, he encountered Nomuri. Izuku. What is Eri doing here? Midnight asked while squeezing Eri's cheeks. Izuku. She won't let go of me, so I just brought her with me. I can take care of her on the meantime since I have no class. Midnight suggested. Eri. I will go to class now, can you accompany Nomuri for now? Asked Izuku. Okay papa. Eri agreed. Midnight then carried Eri and took her to the teacher's lounge to play with her. Izuku then went to his class for the morning lecture. When he arrived, he got bombarded with questions as to why he was absent in the past 3 days, especially the girls. Izuku just sighed as he answered that he just got thing he took care of in those days. His classmates didn't dig in deeper as they just accepted it as his answer. Okay class, take your seats as class is about to start. Aizawa tiredly said as he walked to the teacher's desk. A boring morning just went by with Aizawa blah blah blah. In the Big Three's classroom. Mirio is still absent as he is still unconscious from his fight, beatdown, with Izuku. Nejire on the other hand has her mind floating around as she sat idly in her seat. Izuku, just who are you? Nejire asked herself. Flashback 3 days ago. Aizawa came back to Gym Gamma with Recovery Girl in hope that everything's okay. He jinxed himself when he witnessed the unconscious Mirio on the ground along with the silent students. Recovery Girl quickly went to Mirio's aid and Aizawa told the students back to class. Nejire and Tamaki stayed. Nejire. Aizawa-sensei. Aizawa. What is it? Nejire. Just who is Izuku? Aizawa coughed violently. Nejire. Are you okay Aizawa-sensei? Aizawa. I'm fine, regarding on your question let's just say Izuku is not someone worth offending. Nejire. Is that why you're so respectful of him even though he's your student? Aizawa. Well. More or less. Let me give you a heads up, no matter what you do don't ever get on his bad side cause if you do it's gonna be good for you. You got that? Nejire. Oh okay. Flashback end. I will not give up, Izuku I swear I'm gonna find out your true identity. Nejire thought as she got pumped up. It was now afternoon and it's time for the students to go home. Izuku went to visit the teacher's lounge and saw Eri together with Midnight. They were the only people left in the room. Nomuri, Eri, it's time to go home. Said Izuku. This voice, ah papa. Eri happily hopped as she ran towards Izuku and hugged his leg. Did you have a good time with Nomuri? Asked Izuku. Yeah, she also told me to call her mama. Replied Eri. Mew. Rai. Izuku said as he looked at Midnight. Midnight just awkwardly laughed. Anyway, it's almost evening now. Let's go home shall we? Midnight stuttered. Izuku just sighed as he carried the sleepy Eri in his arms. Izuku. You can sleep for now Eri, I'm going to wake you up when we get home. Okay, papa. Eri replied as she quickly fell asleep in Izuku's chest. Meanwhile somewhere in the city. Papa, I'm finally back. Hopefully that hero bitch hadn't done anything bad to you. Papa must have missed me very much already. Don't worry Papa, you're gonna see your beloved daughter real soon. Yae giggled in her mind as she jumped from building to building in the middle of the night. So what's the meaning of this Papa? Questioned Yae with furrowed eyebrows. Izuku. How should I explain this? Flashback. Yae returned to Nomuri's house and planned to surprise her father, but it turns out she was the one who got surprised when she saw Izuku holding a little girl in his arms when she peeked at the window. She was so confused and jealous that she destroyed the door as she came in. Flashback end. Who is she Papa? That auntie looks scary. Asked Eri. Eri, she is my troublesome daughter. Said Izuku. Hey Papa, that's not nice to say to your lovely daughter. Said Yae. Nomuri. Izuku is right Eri, that woman is really a pain in the ass. Yae. What did you say? Nomuri. Oh you heard me. Besides, you owe me a door. Yae. Whatever. Izuku then explained everything that happened and as to how he met Eri as simply as he can for it to penetrate over his block-headed daughter. After a while of explaining, Yae seemed to get the gist of it, so she calmed her horses down, but still feel extremely jealous over a child. She felt like she got replaced as Izuku's only lovely daughter. I'm also thinking of adopting Eri since she already grew fond of me, and I'd feel bad to just leave her in an orphanage. Said Izuku. What? Exclaimed Yae. Yes, and I'm gonna sign up as the adoptive mother. Said Nomuri with a smug look. Shut it you, I will never accept you as Papa's wife. I'm the only one who's going to marry him. Exclaimed Yae as she pounced on Izuku. That's some extreme father complex you got there girl. That was dangerous Yae, what if Eri got hurt? Asked Izuku as he held Eri safely. But she's planning on taking Papa from Yae. Sobbed Yae, still embracing Izuku. Sigh. Nobody's going to take me away from you. Remember this, father will never let you be alone again, that's a promise I made to your mother. Said Izuku as he gently pat Yae's head, calming down his daughter. Fine, I'll let you adopt Eri, but on one condition. Said Yae. What is it? Asked Izuku. That I will be always your number one. Demanded Yae. Hi, no matter what happens you will always be father's little girl. Replied Izuku. And you thieving cat. I let you have your way of being Eri's adoptive mother, but it's only on paper you got it. Growled Yae as she glared at Namuri. Namuri. Whatever. I'll just take everything step by step and Izuku will be eventually mine. Muahahaha. Namuri maniacally laughed in the mind. You do know that I can read minds, right, Namuri-chan? Thought Izuku. And so Eri officially became a part of Izuku's family. Eri was very delighted not just to have parents, but also a big sister as well. It didn't take long for Yae to warm up to Eri. Weekend in the Kayama household. Yae. Can you say it again, Eri? Yae-onachan. Eri adorably stuttered. Kaya. Did you hear that, Papa? She called me big sister. So this is what it feels like to have a younger sibling. Said Yae. Yes, you are now officially a big sister. Said Izuku as he drinks his morning coffee. Yae. Now that I think about it, Papa. Izuku. Yae. Why haven't you made me a younger sibling with Mama? Yae's unprecedented remark caused Izuku to choke on his coffee. Cough violently. Why did you ask that, put of the blue dear? Asked Izuku. Nothing much, just wondering about it. Replied Yae as she plays with Eri. Izuku, if you want to make a child, remember you always have me. Said Namuri seductively as she's washing the dishes. Izuku. I have to pass on that offer. Haha. Get zoned, bitch. Mocked Yae. Shut up. Exclaimed Namuri, embarrassed. Izuku. Language, dear, Eri's here. Sorry, Papa. Apologized Yae as she stuck het tongue out on Namuri. Why you? Deep breath. Never mind, I don't fight with brats. Said Namuri. I'm older than you though, and by a whole lot that is. Yae smugged. Oh, did I say about your age? I meant your mentality is that of a brat. Mocked Namuri. Izuku. Okay, that's enough, you two. Sigh. Namuri. Yae. Alright, okay, Papa. Izuku. Isn't there a single day when you two stop arguing with each other? I won't give up, Izuku, it'll definitely make you mine. Fufufu. Namuri creepily snickered. Okay class, next week we'll be having our UA sports festival, so you better be ready. Said Izawa. Hell yeah. I can't wait to crush these extras. Yelled Bakugo. Kirishima. I can't wait. Jiro. Same here. Momo. This is going to be fun. Izuku just sat there smiling at seeing the children's enthusiasm. Meanwhile, Todoroki can be seen glaring at Izuku with malice. I swear I'm going to beat you and show that I'm the strongest. That way Momo will also look my way. Cursed Todoroki in his mind. A week later. The whole school is flooded by many people and even some reporters to spectate the festival. Yae and Eri also came to watch their Papa in action. Even some pro heroes came to be security for the festival in case something bad happened in such a big day. Midnight can be seen at the center of the stage with a microphone in her grasp. Everyone, are you ready? Exclaimed Midnight. The crowd roared in response. Yae Wani-chan, look, it's Mama. Eri excitedly said while pointing at Namuri with glitters in her eyes. Yes, I see that annoying pest, Eri. Now please hold your horses. Said Yae while trying to contain Eri. Midnight. Well then, let's get this show started. Our first event is a race. Participants are allowed to use their quirks at their disposal to win the race. Both Class 1 and 1B got ready at the starting line. All the students seemed to be fired up. I'm going to win this shit. Yelled Bakugo as he stretched his back. Watch me, Momo, I'll prove to you Midoriya is nothing to me. Thought Todoroki. What did I ever do to this kid for him to be this hostile to me? Thought Izuku as he looked at the Isahit teen in confusion. Papa, do your best. Yelled Eri as she bit her tongue at the last word. Izuku just waved at Eri with an awkward smile on his face. Everyone in the crowd thought of just how precious the little girl is. Izuku classmates on the other hand are either confused or surprised, especially the girls. Some of them even got their brain to stop functioning. And start. Said Midnight. She signaled the start of the race. Everyone started running by using their quirks to their advantage. The girls snapped back from their thoughts as they also started running. Bakugo is using his explosions to push himself forward, giving him a boost of speed, while Shoto is using his ice to slide into. Izuku on the other hand is still on the starting line, standing still, not having a care to the world. The crowd were confused as to why one student refused to move from the starting line. Why do I even have to participate in this childish events? Thought Izuku as he just stood there like an idiot. You can do it, Papa. Don't give up. Shouted Eri almost on the verge of tears. Izuku then got glares all over the arena for making a cute little girl cry. How is that my fault? Don't cry, Eri, Papa is going to win this race. Izuku comforted Eri. Eri just nodded as Yae wiped her tears and snot away. The crowd started muttering. Such confidence. Ha. How is he going to win when the others are almost already at the finish line? Just give up, little boy, and play with this one E-san instead. No, don't listen to this whore, come with me, I'll surely give you a good time. How did the topic went a complete U-turn? Thought Izuku. Meanwhile, Yae is seen making a ruckus like a maniac to whoever said those words. Izuku just shrugged it off and readied himself into a running position. He then took a deep breath and suddenly, a gust of dust covered Izuku's position. When the dust cleared out, a small crater can be seen as to where Izuku was before. A flash went at lightning speed and overtook the other contestants in the blink of an eye. After a few seconds, Izuku can be seen at the finish line dusting his clothes. Some sort of green lightning trickled his body. The whole crowd went wild by the amazing spectacle they just saw. Eri jumped like a rabbit upon knowing her papa won the race. The other contestants were in shock as to what they just saw, especially Bakugo and Todoroki. The two of them were either enraged or intimidated. We shouldn't have let Sensei participate. He's going to destroy the balance of common sense at this rate. Thought Izawa, pinching the bridge of his nose. And the winner, Izuku Midoriya. Declared Midnight. The crowd went wild once again and the girls congratulated Izuku upon winning the first event. Okay students, we'll be having a 30-minute break before we proceed to the next event, said Midnight. The students began taking their rest. Izuku was welcomed with a cuddly hug by Eri. Izuku then patted the little girl's head and Eri just smiled. Yae stood there looking a bit jealous. Izuku just sighed and also gave her a patting. Heh, said Yae as she just smiled joyously. Did you enjoy the race, Eri? Asked Izuku. So much, Papa, exclaimed Eri. Izuku. I see, are you a good girl today, Yae? Yes, Papa. Yae is behaving today, don't worry, exclaimed Yae, raising her left hand as she stood straight. Quit that, you're over-exaggerating things, said Izuku as he pulled his daughter's hand down. Yae laid down a picnic blanket on the grassy field as she took out a picnic basket full of food. The three of them sat together. Eri sat between Izuku's lap. Midnight just looked at them and had the urge to join in, but she can't because she still has work to do. She just looked in envy while biting her fingernails. As they were eating, the girls of One started approaching them. Izuku, who is that cute little girl? Asked Ichako. She's so cute, squealed Mina. I know, right, I just wanna pinch her cheeks, added Hagakure. Go on, Eri, introduce yourself, said Izuku. Oh, okay, said Eri as she stood up. And nice to meet you, I'm Eri Midoriya, stuttered Eri. Momo. Nice to meet you too, Eri Mido. Yeah, Momo.exe has stopped working. Is she really your daughter, Izuku? Exclaimed Jiro. Izuku. Yeah, more or less. Sigh. What do you mean? Izuku. She's my adoptive daughter. Sigh. Oh, I see. By the way, Izuku, who is that pretty woman next to you? She's glaring daggers at us since we came here. Ichako awkwardly asked. Yae. GGRRRRR. Listen here, I'm no other than Yae Midoriya, Papa's muffled voice. She's a close relative of mine, said Izuku, still covering his hot-headed daughter's mouth. Momo. Is that so? Well then we won't bother you any longer. Mina. See you later, Izuku. Okay, see you later, girls, said Izuku, waving them goodbye. The girls then went on their ways. Yae. Muffled screaming. Izuku sighed and let go of Yae's mouth. What was that all about, Papa? Asked Yae. Are you doing this on purpose or you're just plain stupid? Said Izuku as he hand-chopped his daughter's head. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that, asked Yae with an idiotic face. Izuku. No. Sniff. You don't love Yae anymore, Papa, sniffled Yae. Don't cry, Yae One-chan, said Eri, trying to reach onto Yae's eyes to wipe her One-chan's tears with her small hands. Of course not, they can't possibly believe that you're my daughter when you look old enough to be parent instead. But you're still my little girl, remember that, comforted Izuku. Okay, Papa, said Yae happily as she wiped her tears away. Don't cry like that next time, you're already a grown-up, said Izuku, caressing Yae's head. The three of them began to eat as the second event will start anytime soon. The second event was the cavalry battle. Izuku's teams consisted of Ichako, Tokoyami, and Mei. Due to Izuku winning the race. Their headband had 10 million points in it, so they are undoubtedly the main target to win the cavalry battle. Every group went out and attacked Izuku's team to get the headband, but Izuku already made proper plans before the battle starts. He explained to his members that he will boost their quirks to help them have the advantage and just leave the stealing of the headband to him. The cavalry battle ended, leaving Izuku's team with an overwhelming victory. The crowd cheered loudly upon witnessing Izuku's team. The team performed with great coordination and skill. It got the whole audience hyped up. Even Eri and Yae cheered on the top of their lungs. The cavalry with the most points are Izuku, Tokoyami, Achako and Mei, announced Midnight. Izuku's team cheered for their victory, while they also congratulated the other opposing teams for their hard work. Bakugo and Todoroki on the other hand are seething with anger. Now everyone, after a 30-minute rest we will be commencing our final event, which is the 1 vs 1 battle tournament, said Midnight. The students then once again took their short break. Todoroki spotted Izuku and put his hand on Izuku's shoulder to stop him. "What is it?" asked Izuku. "I don't know what trickery you used to win the previous events, but I'll crush you in the arena if we ever meet each other there," threatened Todoroki. "Don't just run your mouth and prove it with your fist," glared Izuku as he knocked Todoroki's hand off his shoulder. "TCH. Let's see how long you can keep your cool once I destroy you," cursed Todoroki. 30 minutes later. Midnight commenced a drawing to determine the pairing for the tournament event. Izuku got paired up with a guy named Hitachi Shinso. The other students also got paired up with their opponents. "For our first match, Izuku Midoriya vs Hitachi Shinso," said Midnight as the two went up the stage. Midnight then explained the rules of the match. After a little while of explaining, she commenced the start of the battle. Shinso began trash-talking Izuku, but Izuku just shrugged it off. "Maybe he has brain problems," thought Izuku. Shinso started losing his cool as to why Izuku still hasn't taken the bait he made. Shinso's quirk can only activate once his target spoke to him in any way, but he got no reaction from Izuku whatsoever. "What the heck is with this guy? Why won't he talk back?" thought Shinso. Izuku then got bored by Shinso's constant nagging and began walking towards him. What are you trying to do?" "Stay away," said Shinso trembling. "I'm not gonna eat you or anything," replied Izuku. "Chance," thought Shinso. "I order you to step out of the stage," ordered Shinso. "Shinso. Get out of the stage. Lower your voice, will you? I heard you the first time," said Izuku as he picked his ear with his pinky finger. "Why isn't my quirk working to you?" muttered Shinso, clearly confused. "Are you done now?" asked Izuku. "What do you mean?" said Shinso as he is met with a slap and face knocking him out of bounds and slapped the life out of him. Aizawa, Midnight, All Might, Present Mick and Nezu just face-palmed on what they just witnessed. The crowd went silent for a second, but after a while laughter and snickers can be heard all over the stage. These are some of the crowd's comments. "What the hell was that? That was hilarious. My stomach. My stomach. The winner of the first match is Izuku Midoriya," stuttered Midnight. "The rest of the match is canon in the anime since I'm too lazy to write. That's it guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. With that, take care."